Savings gives you leverage. Savings gives you backing. Savings is those 100 people standing behind you where people say, I'm not going to mess with you, or I'm going to do business with you because you got a lot of backing. That's savings. Savings allows you to process things better. Savings allows you to make better decisions, lead better, every single way. You become a better CEO, you become a better executive, you become a better recruiter, better salesman, if you have savings in place. And savings is 3 different brackets. It's not all checking account. You got to make sure short-term's taken care of, mid-term, long-term. If you're single right now, you might say, I don't have any kids, I don't have to worry about my kids. Then it's all short-term, fine. If you got kids, you're married, you got to make sure mid-term. If you got an 8-year-old daughter, 10 years college that's 18 years old, you got to think about these types of things. If you got a 16-year-old daughter, 10 years, 26, marriage, in your culture, do you pay? Do they pay? How much do you need to set aside? Is $50,000 a wedding? I don't know those numbers. But you need to be prepared for it because that time is coming very, very quickly. Liquid. Let me tell you why liquid. You'll see a lot of people who all of a sudden their net worth will go from 0 to $17 million on real estate because the economy is doing very well. And it's all good. So everybody says, oh my gosh, that guy's such a genius. He's so great, he's so awesome, he's so this. I took over an office of somebody in Woodland Hills who at one point was worth $400 million, okay? His net worth went from $400 million to $20 million in 2 years, is what happened to his net worth. You know why? Because he was all real estate and he wasn't liquid. And he thought real estate, the mortgage, all this stuff was gonna constantly go up and up and up and up, and he was eventually gonna be a multi-billionaire. That's fine. If somebody, you can go up there and put $100,000 on roulette and say it's gonna be number 22, and if it comes up, your $100,000 becomes $3.6 million. There is a 1 in 36 chance that it's gonna happen. So if it happens to somebody, it's awesome. That happens to a lot of people that become billionaires because they were at the right place, right time, real estate, all this stuff. That does happen. But I don't bet my money on exceptions. I bet my money on predictability factors. Let me elaborate. Every 10 years in the world or in a country, typically in America, some countries is more, but ours is generally 10 years. Every 10 years, a major crisis happens. Every 20 years, a massive crisis happens. But 10 years, a major crisis happens, okay? When this crisis happens, let me tell you who benefits from it. You know who benefits from it when a major crisis happens? Those who are liquid. Those who are liquid. You see a lot of people that say, I never have cash. I never have cash. I love cash. I love cash. You got to have a crisis account. That's not your emergency fund. I'm not talking emergency fund that this is the right thing to do. I'm talking a crisis account. What saved the business when we were going through difficult times and our company's checking account went to $13,000. I have payroll, commissions, everything. $13,000. Where we're about to shut down the company. It's this close. We're about to shut down the company. What saved us was the crisis account that I had. No one knew about. That money showed up, put it back into the business, saved us, we lasted, we made it through the tough times, and now we're here where we are today. But it's because I had a secret crisis account no one else knew about. The biggest problem most people are facing when it comes down to trying to double their money, you know what it is? They don't have enough money. That's the problem. Here's a stat for you. 52% of millennials ages 18 to 37 years old have less than $1,000 in savings. And by the way, only 16.5% of millennials have over $20,000 in savings. Only 16.5. So what's the problem? Savings. We need more savings. We need you to have more money in your pocket. Realize, cash is still king. This is not in the past. It is still king. Keep your cash. Don't get too aggressive. Don't get too crazy. Don't go to the dumb side. Don't listen to the R. Kelly song thinking you can fly. You can't fly. Nobody can fly. But sit there and strategize yourself to say, oh my gosh, in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, something could happen. And when it does, oh my goodness, I'm going to capitalize. Look, somebody say, well, Pat, isn't this kind of deceptive? I hope everybody watches this video, but they won't. You know why? Because cat videos do better. Something's going to happen in the next 5 years. And the people that are going to make massive wealth are the ones that save cash. So I'm a cash guy. Not always. I'm a cash guy pre-crisis.
You're a cash guy pre-crisis.
Pre-crisis.
Which is now.
Which is now.
Which is now.
So right now is a great time to have a lot of cash. Here's a rule of zero. The rule of zero is tough for folks who are very greedy to embrace because it sounds easy saying it, but let me explain to you the power of zero. So here's what it is about the rule of zero.
When 2008 took place, a lot of people lost money. They were talking about the 401ks, now the 201k. I had clients, I would go look at their statement. They would say, I only have $380,000. I'm like, that's not bad for you. She says, well, this used to be $790,000. Well, that's a pretty bad thing right there. And they're 64 years old. What do you tell this person? They got to work for another 7 more years. They were planning on retiring for 1 year, but because they were not fully ready and they did not take advantage of the power of zero. Because in 2008, market tanked 38%. In 2008, if you did 0% in 2008, that really means you did plus 38% compared to what the market did. So you have to also be paying attention to the offense you're playing. You got to be playing offense as well, of course, if you want to create wealth. Offense. But you got to have a certain strategy on how you can take advantage of the rule of zero. So when it does happen, you have more that's sitting for you to say, this is my next opportunity to go in because you paid attention to the rule of zero.